XPaths. In detail explanation about we are going to study. So basically, we know that XPath is used to identify any particular object in a web page within the HTML. Right. Using this XPath, I know that the syntax is / tag name, open braces, attribute is equal to attribute value. This is the syntax which we have studied earlier. So the / what does this / and the XPath represents? The / represents the current node. In the HTML, it represents the current node itself. Okay, tag name. What exactly this tag name will represent? Tag name for that particular node. Whatever the node is there, or else whatever the HTML line is there for that particular line. And attribute. So we know the property basically. Attribute means the property itself. And attribute value means the value associated or assigned for that property. That's it. So whenever we are using this particular syntax, it is highlighting or selecting that particular node itself without relating to the previous objects or the next objects. Okay, good enough. So the next point on top of this particular one is the types of XPaths. And another thing is we can use this XPath for ID, class, name, type, value, title, for, etc., ALG, etc. If an object is having any one of these properties, we can assign these properties to that particular XPath. Okay, we can assign this particular properties to the XPath. And basically, there are two types of XPaths for us. The first one is absolute XPath, and the second one is relative XPath. Okay, one is an absolute XPath, and the second one is an relative XPath. So first of all, what exactly this absolute XPath means? Which is a direct way to find the elements. Okay, and if there are any changes in the element, this property will fail. So we'll show you the syntax basically. So here the key characteristics of this XPath begins with a single slash itself. Okay, it means we can select the object from the root node. From the parent node, we can select that particular object. Okay, fine, done up to here. And then how this absolute XPath looks like and why this is not suggested in the real world means, why exactly it is not suggested in the real world means, what it will happen means, let me show you how the absolute XPath looks like. I opened bing.com and here right click, inspect. So here, instead of going for this inspect, what I want to do is let me add a plugin here to generate the XPath. So which is WebDriver element locator. So WebDriver element locator is the one which I want to add. Let me open my browser. WebDriver element locator. for Chrome. See, basically, I just performed this operation. Here is the first link. Element locator is the add-on which is displaying. Click on that particular link. It is navigating to this add-ons screen itself. And on this screen, there is an option for us to hit as an add to Chrome. That's the only option we have, which is add to Chrome. So depending on your requirement, you just need to select that particular option. Okay, depending on your need, you just need to select that particular option. See here, this kind of a screen, it will display element locator and add to Chrome. As soon as you clicked on a add to Chrome, automatically that particular XPath or that particular add-on will be added to your browser. So I'm just clicking on a add to Chrome. A pop-up will display, click on a add extension. It will take a few seconds to add it. And once it got added, okay, once it got added, you can find this add-on on the top right corner of your browser. Okay, you can find this add-on on the top right corner of your browser. This one, extensions. Just click on that element locator. Okay, so this is how the element locator looks like. That's fine. Before that, open the bing.com. Okay, I just opened my bing.com and selected the element locator. Mark all on and this one as a on. Once these two are on, select your desired objects. I have just selected my desired object. So my desired object is, for suppose, this button. I just selected that button, and if you go back here basically, so this is for that field and this is for that button. So if I click on this magnifying icon, the various locators with respect to this object will display. Okay, this is the standard XPath whatever we have created. Okay, this is the standard XPath. If you remember how we usually create the XPath, the same way it generated this XPath as well. Okay, so if you observe here, basically, let me copy this XPath for the second node and place it here. And even it is starting from the current node itself. Usually what it will happen means the XPath from where it will start means slash HTML slash body slash star, something like that. So what it will happen with respect to this absolute XPath, it will start identifying that object from the HTML root node, from the page itself starting basically. Okay, from the page starting itself, it will try to identify the object. So what it will happen, it will try to identify the page object. For suppose if they have inserted any other text field in the middle, definitely that locator will fail. Okay, for suppose here is a text field for which I have created in this way, like something like XPath. For suppose if they have added one more text field on top of this one, then definitely our script will fail. Okay, then definitely our script will fail. So whenever they will add a new properties in the middle, definitely the test scripts will fail. That's the ultimate thing which you people need to consider. Okay, so the absolute XPath is not at all suggested. Good. So whereas the next one here is a relative XPath, which will start from the middle of the web page. Okay, which will start from the middle of the web page and it will start with double slashes, what we used earlier. Okay, which will start with a double slashes, and moreover it will search in entire web page. Whichever the web page is there, it will search in the entire web page. So it means you no need to enter such a long XPath which will result to a failure. okay, which will result to a failure. That's fine. And then, so this XPath is preferred in the real world. Usually, the relative XPath is preferred in the real world. Okay, that's fine. Done up to here. And then once after we are done up to here, then the next point that we need to consider is, if you remember, guys, we have already studied how to write a XPath for multiple objects. Like we have created an XPath for a for property, we have created an XPath for a class property, etc. We know how to use it. Slash slash HTML tag name open braces at the rate of property or a attribute is equal to attribute value in the single quotes we have to specify. This is a syntax I know and that I have already implemented that. But now the thing is, I want to write down an XPath basically which contains a portion of the text. So in the XPath, there are different types which we are studying right now. Okay, there are different types of an XPaths which we are studying right now. One will start with a contains, and another will start with starts with. Start with and as well as a contains are the two different types of an XPath. Basically, I can use it on a text. For suppose basically my desired button text is a create. Guys, if you remember, we used this one for create, right? In a Salesforce application, we use it this expand. How it looks like is basically slash slash tag name open braces contains. So here I want to verify this contains, and that too this contains should be of a text. So contains a text open braces close braces comma in the single quotes specify the desired text. Close the brace, close the brace. That's it. Below is the syntax which is used to verify a particular text or write down an XPath for a specific text. So this is the syntax, right? Let me go back to my browser and let us see how can I write down that particular XPath. Okay, let me log in into my Salesforce application. And then once you logged into that, the same syntax slash slash a tag name contains a text. Close the braces in the single quotes. You have to specify the desired text. The same thing I'm trying to implement for this create. Right click on that create inspect. When you have inspected that, the text on that one is a create and the tag name is a span. So slash slash span open braces contains is the keyword. That's good. I have specified that. Contains text, comma, in the single quotes, create the text, close the braces. See, automatically the desired object is getting highlighted in the browser. So this is the way how can I use a text or how can I identify a text on a particular object using this contains keywords. Okay, using this contains a keyword, how can we use it? This is a simple way how you people need to use it. Okay, good enough. And on top of this contains, the next one out over there is a starts with. Okay, starts with is another concept basically which we are going to use, and specifically it is used in order to identify the starting text basically. If it is starting with some text, how we are going to identify that? We will be specifying with the starts with itself. Slash slash span open braces starts with, and that too this is a text itself starts with it's a text create, and I have a specified that. So here I have a created a full length text out over there. if I remove my characters, see here, I'm just giving only my three characters, CRE. So what I'm specifying starts with the text and the text is here CRE. So what your XPath will do, it's trying to identify an object in a browser which is having a text and that too the text starting three characters is with CRE. It will identify like that. Whichever the object might be, it will identify with that particular text. Starts with the desired text I have to specify within the single quotes. Automatically, the desired object will be identified in the browser. Good enough. Done the deal. And then the next point which we need to consider here is okay, that's fine. We have a specified this one, which is a contains and as well as a starts with a text. Even we can use both contains and starts with for objects also. Like the syntax is slash slash tag name open braces contains open braces at the rate property type or a attribute type is equal to attribute value. You can give either a text or you can use this particular one also. So let me go back here and what we can do basically. So right click, inspect. So this is a class, right? So here slash slash span open braces contains at the rate class comma in the single quotes I have to specify my desired class. That's it. So it was able to identify that. So for suppose when can we use this contains a concept? Usually a simple question will rise in our mind. If it is having an XPath like a class, directly we can use an XPath as a regular syntax. Why are we using this contains a concept? The reason is, so this is your class for that object, right? This is the class for that object. Assume that in the HTML, the class contains this value followed by some date timestamp here. Definitely, there's a date timestamp. We can't use it for our XPaths. Okay, there's a date timestamp. We can't use it for our XPaths in the real world. In such situations, in such situations, you can't use this XPath. That's the reason what we are doing. We are ignoring this value, which is dynamically changing, and we are just keeping this value itself, which is constant, which is not changing. We will be keeping that particular value itself as an XPath. In such situations, we are going to use a contains. So this whole is a class in which the last thing is changing as a number, but the before thing it won't change. Hence, you are going to use this particular option as an XPath. In such situations, we are going to use this contains a concept, guys. Am I clear for you all? Why are we using these contains and where exactly we are going to use this contains a concept in the XPath world? Are any questions for me on this? Contains 1 second. Guys, am I clear for you all till now, or any questions for me? Arul, Bala, Sarita, Subha, Payal, Padmaja, Ramya, am I clear for you all? So you want me to explain which point, the contains one or everything, Payal? Okay. See, the simple thing, Payal. So here, this is the class name for an object. This is the complete class name they have a given. And this class name contains some alphanumeric combination. And assume that today, not today basically, as I'm working at 7:23 a.m. Okay, 7:23 a.m. When I identified the object, I see this is the class name for that. Okay, I see this is the class name. I close the browser, reopen the browser, and when I identify the class name, then I'm getting some other number here. Like, okay, some other number here. That's it. I'm just getting this some other number here. So it means the class name is a keep on changing here. Okay, the class name is a keep on changing here. Okay, so whenever it is a keep on changing, in such situations, I can't use a slash slash tag name open braces at the rate a class equal to this particular class name. I can't use that. The reason is every time it is changing, it means every time I need to change my class name in the XPath, which is not suggested. That's the reason. What I observed from those two XPaths is only the alphanumeric combination is changing, but SLDS align middle value is not changing. In such situations, I can use a contains stating that if my class contains up to here, this is what my desired object is. Pick it and perform the operations. Like that, we have to specify this point pile. Okay. Am I clear for you now, or any questions for me on this? Okay, cool. Yeah, Arul, you can unmute from your end. Oh, yes.
Surendra, till now I'm good. Actually,
Okay.
I have one doubt. For before that, the text field, right? That time we used it's like a slash slash span and open braces text like a class, right?
Yes.
But after that we didn't use like that. We are using class equal to class comma and attribute value.
Yes. Those are two different syntaxes. If
Okay.
you are using it for a text, basically, in such situations, this is the syntax you have to specify only for the text. If
Only
you
for
want to use for any other property, then you have to use in this way. At the
oh,
rate of property, comma, in the single quotes, we have to specify the value. Only for that particular one, you have to specify in such a
oh,
way.
okay. Only for the text, the
Yes,
first one,
yes.
remaining all the second one, right?
Second one, yes, that's it.
Also for the second one, for the class name, class property, we don't need to specify that number.
Entire, yes, you no need to specify the entire. A
And,
portion of the class name, we can specify it automatically, it will recognize that.
oh,
If there are a multiple objects, definitely it will show you these many objects are there with this one. So
oh,
it's up to you how you want to give your properties. See
oh,
here, the class name is SLDS align, right? The class name here is SLDS align middle. But here, if you observe, as part of the contains XPath, I have a given SLDS again align itself. That's
oh,
it. I have a given up to here itself, but it's identifying the desired object. It means it's not mandatory to pass the complete class name whenever you are using a contains.
okay,
And here I used a class, right? Maybe if the object is having an ID or a name or some other property, we can pass those properties here. It's up to that particular object. Whichever the property is there, we can pass that. It doesn't mean that always we have to pass this ID or class itself.
okay.
Okay, good.
Thank Yeah, I'm good.
Done the
Thank
deal. So, guys, any other questions for me, or you are good so far? Cool. So, considering your silence as a good, then the next point which we need to consider on top of this one is, so basically the contains and starts with the XPath syntaxes are almost one and the same. Contains, when it will be used, means if the entire XPath or an object contains a portion of a text, we can use a contains, whereas the starts with is the one basically we will be using to specify that Yeah, that's what I'm explaining now. The differences between a contains and a starts with. The basic differences between these two is contains from the entire thing. For suppose SLDS align middle. This is what the class name for that, right? For suppose here, if you observe, guys, this is what. See, this is what the syntax for this one. So what I'm doing means for this contains, I'm removing this SLDS underscore align. Still, it was able to identify that. So contains means in the entire class name, it will check whether these two words ALGNS underscore middle is there or not. It will check it out. If it is there, then it will identify that particular object. If not, and it's not going to identify that particular object. Whereas if you go with the starts with, the name itself will tell you if the class name is starting with these characters, then only identify it. So here slash slash span open braces starts with. So both are almost one and the same. The difference is this will be verifying only with the starting position. If there are a few characters which are in the starting, it will be validated that. Whereas a contains means in the entire property, if it contains a portion, it will be validating that. So here starts with open braces at the rate class, comma, I'm specifying my class name as what is my class name starts with SLDS. SLDS. I have specified that. So with this SLDS, there are 59 objects are there. I don't want my desired objects are six basically. SLDS underscore LIGNS. LIGN basically. So, if you observe the desired six objects are populating here. That's it. The desired six objects are populating here. That's it. Starts with is used specifically in order to verify the starting position of the property or starting text of that particular property, whereas the contains is used in the entire text. You can specify the group of words that can be used. But the only thing is we need to pass the unique text or a unique property value for the desired object. It's in your hands. That's it. Am I clear for you guys till now? Sarita, Payal, Padmaja, Arul. Am I clear for you all till now or any questions? Subha, good. You can use this chat window. Do you have any questions or you are good so far? Good. And then, okay. The next point on top of this one is, okay, that's fine. We used it. And we are using a single property like slash slash tag name open braces at the rate of property type equal to property value. If you want to specify multiple properties for an object, okay, within an XPath, if I want to specify the multiple properties for an XPath, in such situations, I can use and, okay, and at the rate of property type is equal to value. That's it. I can use a and keyword in the middle and I can pass a multiple attributes within a single XPath. At the rate of property type is equal to property value and at the rate of property type is equal to value, and you can use this and you can specify multiple properties here. So it means, let me navigate to the bing.com application to show you a simple example of that. Right click, inspect elements. It's having an ID property slash slash input open braces at the rate ID equal to. I know that the object is having a type property and here and at the rate type is equal to. I can specify multiple locators here using this and. Okay, so basically the thing is, for an object, both the conditions should satisfy. So it means that object should have a id property, and that too that object should have a type property. Both the properties should be there. Okay, so for suppose if this a type is an invalid, definitely it won't display out over there. And whereas I can use an or here. Or means any one of these property is valid, then we are going to use that. So usually in the real world, we will be using and majorly, like we are going to specify multiple properties of a specific object using this and. Okay, good. This is all about and as well as an or concepts. And even so far we studied about the various XPaths like contains starts with and as well as a R or the different stuff which we studied